The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Wednesday, the 16th day of October, 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical One Communications and Lindo's. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sherry Vanderpoo, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sherry, how are you making out today?
I mean, I can't see you, really.
Oh, yeah.
I am. Oh, this one. Oh, there we are.
Yeah, a little something there. A little something. Yeah.
I'm doing well this morning, Jamal. It is cold and like rainy out here in Atlanta, Georgia. But I don't mind fall weather. How about you? I mean, it doesn't really get fallish
No,
in Florida.
we don't have fall in Florida. It's like Bermuda. I mean, I always see Bermudians talking about, oh, it's still hot. There's no winter yet. I'm like, folks, get out of Bermuda longer than 3 weeks, because it ain't really never no 4 seasons there. But anyway, no,
Sometimes in one day.
yeah,
It is.
for real, right? No, they don't get no. Winter is not cool weather, folks. Winter involves snow. Let's just be clear. That's not
Really?
Yes, come on. Only New Englanders really and Midwest people know what 4 seasons are. People think cold means winter. That's not damn well winter. Come on.
No, I went to school in Ohio, so
Yeah, you know about winter.
I do.
Folks,
I do.
folks are looking for a reason. What's those high boots they wear? What's those things called?
Just knee boot,
No,
high boot?
the ones with the fluffy stuff and all that.
Uggs.
People just want to wear the Uggs. That's all they
I
want.
love my
That's what
Uggs.
they want to do. People, Bermudians just want to put on the Uggs. They're like, oh man, it's so hot. I can't wear my Uggs. Come on, man. Come on.
I love my Uggs.
Yeah.
Gem them.
They have Uggs for men.
Yes, there is a whole line. Just like how what was it? What's your shoe you like?
A shoe I like.
The one that you said was really, really comfortable.
Oh, the slipper things. What they called?
Not Crocs.
Yes.
Was it Crocs? Right, you have a shoe. Like Uggs has like a whole line of different kinds of shoes.
Yeah. Well, hey, I don't know about Uggs, folks. I haven't graduated to Uggs or whatnot. So yeah. Do they have a store for Uggs like they have Crocs store? What?
Yeah, because sometimes you act like you really don't know stuff.
Player, I know where my strengths are, and that's where I lay.
There is a UGG store, Jamal.
Okay.
I suggest that you go check it
Not
out.
everybody in the audience knew this, but anyway, greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today. We're going to be focusing on. Unfortunately, we don't have a guest this morning, but we will be focusing on town halls. Maya will be speaking, sharing from her news break much of what was happened at the town halls last night with the premier education minister, and who else was it? Somebody else, probably the health lady, possibly.
I didn't see that, but go ahead.
I
saw those two. I didn't see a third.
Yeah,
but I'll find out.
Just to be 3 at least, but we'll talk. Maya will share more with us, and then we're gonna have that daily play. Sherry, Phil, Spencer, Larry, they all been a bit arrogant lately, right? They think that they're not letting me play my music. They're not letting me play my music, so we'll be discussing. Folks, Friday we're welcoming a new person to the team. A new person is joining the Daily Hour team, so you don't want to miss out on that. And people hitting the, oh, who's it gonna be? Oh, folks, you don't know her.
And
I mean,
just trying to break down the science, right?
yeah,
Of like, oh well, it could be, and this. They're
no,
using old methods
yeah,
of whatever,
yeah,
Jamal, and it's
yeah,
like,
yeah. Tarai,
you're wrong.
Tarai is not leaving his job, folks.
Oh, you got that question.
No, yeah,
Interesting.
they're guessing. But no, we're not giving away.
Love it.
None of you would win the prize if that were the case. But let's just say the idea for the daily hour is to do what we always speak of, which is to grow beyond our environment, right? All right, let's get to the question of the morning. So, oh, one more thing, quick. Congratulations! I think Tika Edness won big last night
Yes.
at the Bermuda Pit. What's it called? The Rocket Pitch.
Rocket Pitch, and I want to say a shout out to Shay Iris.
What she
She
did?
also she was a winner in her category, and her thing was cages and rages. So basically, a angle room where you can break up stuff and all
Oh,
of that, and work on, for people who have anger issues, or you just want
oh,
to blow off some steam or something. So Shay Iris, she and I work together in family services, and I'm so excited,
oh, that's a
so
generation.
excited.
That's a generation saving idea. I like that. Yeah, there are quite. I didn't get
Antica.
the entire thing, but Phil definitely shared it in our chat group last night, and I got to watch a bit. So congratulations to everyone that had a business idea, pitched it,
Yeah.
and hey, may success be with you and your ventures. Folks, if you can go, I think it was on BDC's YouTube channel. So if you'd like
Yes.
get in on that and see what kind of ideas existed and what you might want to support, go check it out on the BEDC YouTube page. But question of the morning, folks, is, again, Maya attended the she has video, sorry, of the town hall last night with the premier education minister and I believe the health minister, and it was very interesting. If you look at the Morning Royal Gazette, it's top stories basically about what happened there. So my question, and I remember, I've always found town halls laughable in many respects, from different angles as well. Like, one is politicians, in my opinion, hope people don't show up so they can tick it off their box. So they can say, oh, we had a town hall and nobody showed up. And
Hmm.
two, people only show up when it's of self-interest, right? Which is okay,
Right.
because as a person who fought something, I went around and was haggling town halls trying to get politicians to pay attention to our battles. So I think it is fair game. It's your chance. If they're not coming on your doorstep, you go to them. I always say you have to go to the politicians. But the question that I think is important from us, the public, the audience, the people of the community, is, do we really believe town hall meetings are effective? Do you believe town hall meetings are effective? Like, last night, there was a question about violence in Cedar Bridge Academy or schools, right?
Mm.
There was from the audience. There were people in the audience regarding the West End Somerset primary thing, again, of interest, right? Do we think these things are effective? Do we believe they'll make a difference? Do we believe that because one of the things I realize about politicians, whether they're on this show, whether they're in the news, regardless of where they are, I always feel as if when things are going good, they're quick to take credit.
Right.
When things are going bad, well, we don't control this, or I believe that the people in charge or the school will take care of this or that. But I wonder, like, Sherry, have you ever been to a town hall meeting?
No.
Okay. How much of the let's get across this first part, audience. How many of you have actually been to a town hall meeting? Yes or no? How many of you, before we even get into it, because this will lead us to the actual question, do you believe town hall meetings are effective? How many of you have actually been to a town hall meeting? How many of you have been to one? Now, again, I wouldn't say I was a hackler, but I've been to one or two. I dragged Larry Marshall Jr. With me to one. I've dragged a couple of other friends to one. But again, that's me. And there's no judgment if you've never been. Let me be clear. There's no judgment because, like I said, that was self-interest at the time. We were battling something. We were fighting something. But yes or no? Let's get to this. Yes or no? Have you ever been to a town hall meeting? And even what Bermuda College done recently is kind of considered town hall, which just not politics. It was involving violence, right? The
Hmm.
violent thing. So that's considered town hallish, right? Let's go
Yeah.
to the audience. Have you ever been to a town hall meeting? Sherry says no. I say, quite a few. Shanna Smith says never.
Never.
Marquita Lee says no. Sean Smith says good morning. Yes. Traveling Trotty says I have been to a town hall. I believe you've probably put on one on Traveling Trotty. Pamela Wade says I have. Hadley and Stevenson Swan says me. They are informative. Paulie Rich says no. Renee Simmons says I've been to a few. Jackie Eve says yes. And Carla John says I've attended remotely. Reese Sam says yes as well. So let's start with those responses so far. So I would say it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Sean DeShields as well, yes, and Nicole Walker, no. I would say it's a mixed bag to the audience. Now, for those who have been, right, do you believe the town hall meetings are effective? And those who have not been, and I'm not asking like you have to explain, but I'm curious as to why you've never been. Let's start there this morning. And I think once Maya goes into her news break, we'll have a bit more information of whether they can be more impactful going forward. But Sherry, like, what is something you're interested in that would get you to go? Like, what? First of all, why haven't you been to a town hall?
And I'm trying to think, Jamal, like, as a social worker, have I been to town hall meetings or have I been a part of them? Because I'm a part of so many meetings, it seems as if. But things that would, of course, interest me would be social services, anything that has to do with helping the vulnerable, helping children in some form or fashion. So those are the kind of things that I would have been to. The reasons being, there's no particular reason as to why I have not been. Um, there's no particular reason, just maybe not interested at the time or
In fairness to you, not making excuses for her because we don't like each other like that, folks. But in fairness, you had government jobs that probably didn't allow you, in a Bermuda sense, to kind of be active at town halls, correct? Because as far as I know, in Bermuda, you work for a government, you're a civil servant. You can't really do what people did last night, go to these meetings and ask questions. Would that be correct?
possibly Jamal, but I'm also that person that be like, oh well, but if I have a question that I need answered, I'm gonna ask.
No,
Like,
okay.
so I could be that person that was like, oh, okay, I'm not supposed to, but I need to know. So don't follow Sherry on what she does.
No,
But that may be some the case.
yeah.
That might that might be for the case for some departments. And I would say it depending on what the subject is, of course, right?
Okay.
So if we're talking particularly about children and maybe a particular incident that, wants to be fixed or discussed, I may have to be mindful of that in regards to maybe what I know. But in the general sense of certain subjects, if I have a question, I'm gonna ask it and I guess deal with the consequences later.
Consequences, folks. Remember that key word. Maya, we like talking about that mentioning that word, consequences, folks.
And I like that word transparency. So we need to see where I'm coming from.
And the T. Yep. Do you believe town hall meetings are effective, folks? That's your question of the morning. Carla John says town halls are effective when properly moderated.
Interesting.
I was just asked yesterday again to moderate something in Bermuda. So I've been asked over the last month to moderate a couple things in Bermuda. I mean, I don't know if they know what they're getting into asking me, but I take her point though. If they're properly moderated, they can be impactful. Go ahead.
Let me ask this then, Jamal, in regards to how important is the moderation of the moderator in regards to town hall. So they are the point person between the audience and the panel.
Yeah, and I mean,
and balancing it.
Yeah, and I'm just very honest. I'm very honest in this respect that if I have a bias, which I normally do, again, folks, I'm not a journalist, so I can have my bias. I just want to make that clear. But I think it's important to have a moderator who is able to express or keep things tight without expressing their bias. Am I able to do that? Yes. But truthfully, sometimes I want to be, share my, you know what I'm saying? It's hard not to share my opinion. Think about when Maya's not in and I do the news. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for me. I'm not going to say a disability. It's something, and I'm not
It's
going to say it's something I'm working on, because I'm not. Um,
it's the ability to control what you say and your face.
Yeah, I'm not good at that. I'm not
Thank you.
not working on it. But anyway, let's go back to the comments. Do you believe, this ain't about me, folks? This ain't about me. Do you believe town hall meetings are effective? Michael Daniels and Marquita Lee for you, share.
Government town hall meetings should be the general or what's the GE?
Sorry.
Government sponsored town hall meetings should be the genesis of further meetings held by the public.
Okay.
I feel the decisions have already been made. They are just informing us what they are going to do. See, that is that face right there.
But see, that comment, I expected someone to say it, that I don't feel they make a difference, because I feel like decisions have been made, and the proof's in the pudding in many respects. Some people will say, well, they had this meeting and they still went ahead and done what they want to do. In fairness, I mean, I'm not here to defend government. That's just not in my, personality or character. But what I will say is, I don't actually think that's always the case. I think that they do have these meetings. They have an idea of what they want to do. They have these meetings, but from them, they don't get information that makes them want to change their mind. Right. So they go with what, maybe with a little tweak here and there, what they originally intended. That's again, that's just my opinion. I'm not saying that I'm right and she's wrong.
So my other thought on the whole town hall meetings is it effective if more people show up? Right. So I'm in the middle of the thought process of, we want all of this change. We talk about it on social media. We talk about it amongst our friends. We talk about it in on this platform and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's time to show up in the numbers to show that we are serious about a particular subject, do we do that part?
But
and what numbers? And hold on. What numbers show the seriousness of what the community is feeling about a particular subject?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why are you answering and I haven't finished?
No, because it's not number. No, because I think we have a tendency to think that numbers, popularity, like, means something's most important. I don't care if it's.
I don't think it's popularity. I think it's interest.
Well, that's if more people are interested in it, that's popularity in terms of more, interest, right? My point is, no, whether it's 10 people or 100 people, right? Whether it's people in Somerset only or the entire island, that should not determine how effective something is.
It shouldn't determine, but I feel like more people should be, if you are that passionate about something, that you should be at that town hall as well. And I don't think that's the norm.
About it, maybe, but maybe not.
I don't think that's the norm then.
Well, no, it's not. But
and you always use media.
Castro didn't take over Cuba with a large amount of people. In fact, it was probably only 100. Bermudians Against the Draft was only 14 deep. To your point, I think if more people had jumped on board, it could have made a difference. But what I'm saying is, I don't think it changed how effective we were in what we were doing. When you're effective, to me, is a matter of planning, strategy, and execution.
Yeah, so I can agree to that.
I just, and to, you originally, you opened asking about more people. Well, no, I don't want that many people at a damn town hall, because the more, in my opinion, a lot of people just means a longer night of people. No, because it doesn't involve necessarily strategy, action, and execution.
But that's for the
over and over.
But that's for the persons also who are organizing, the moderator too, and also the person that is organizing, for that to be in place. But I feel like we do this tendency of talk, but when these things are put in front of us, nobody shows up.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and then we go on social media
talking to all you people that said no and never. I'm just letting you know.
Well, I'm in that
A lot of comment here that I want to jump in before you started.
Okay.
So Walker said, I think for the most part, they are box ticking. It's a box ticking exercise, basically, and not genuine public consultation. Are they really listening to our feedback? Renee Simmons says the government portrays to take the audience interest to heart because they are put on the spot, but who knows if they actually follow through? That's questionable to me. But I think someone mentioned about follow-ups. Someone mentioned, I think Sherry read earlier about, it requires public follow-up. Polly Rich for you, Sherry.
Haven't attended because it's been said, don't believe they are effective. Believe whatever is being said. People's voices won't change what government has made up in its mind to do. I'm hoping Polly Rich is on a phone.
Dorothy Field says town hall meetings are effective and significant matters and or concerns need to be discussed for seeking and arriving at valuable solutions. Michael Daniels says a consensus does not happen in the light touch of a government town hall. So I think this goes to the point of, it takes more follow-up. Philip Trott says they might be more effective if government did a better job of letting us know when they are happening. Well, I mean, if you tune into the Daily Hour, you would know when some of them are happening. Sean DeShield says, town hall meetings are only effective when there's no political gain or motivating factors involved. Well, I think there's always going to be motivating factors on all sides. I mean, the purpose of conversation is to kind of move the needle, right? I mean, I go back to it. Sherry believes numbers. I think, and I don't disagree. What I'm simply saying is numbers mean nothing without, as Dr. King always told us, planning, strategy, and execution.
I think they go hand in hand.
Well, I don't. You don't need numbers to plan. Again, Kestner may be a bad example. He didn't need numbers to be effective. However, if you have numbers, you have to be effective, or else just noise, right? I believe if there's numbers, you've got to be effective. Like we can't just show up and make noise. Because what happens with governments, and it's been said by many elected people in Bermuda, they'll make that noise today, they'll forget about it tomorrow. Yeah, that's what they think of the Bermudian public. It's not my words, it's them. Sam B says, regardless of the outcome, meetings are effective for government holding as if anything, it's PR and consultation. To say consultation was held to impact change is the goal. That's the goal. Consultation, folks. We're going to continue this conversation because I think it's very interesting. And Maya's got some videos from last night, and we're going to talk about those videos on the other side of the news break. But I'm just saying, I'm not trying to throw Sherry on the bus. I mean, she slipped and fell, but she called you all out. She said, you ain't showing up in numbers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to leave it like that. I mean, I agree with her. I agree with her. But,
I think it's the flip side of them going to social media and then having a whole conversation about it. That bothers me. That part.
Can you just say it? And so are you saying instead of doing a Magis list, and
I'm talking about any type of group that you're with?
She don't want to be direct, folks. She's not taking the bait.
I don't look at Magis list like that. I really do.
You get the WhatsApps. Don't act like you don't.
I do.
Yeah,
I do. Easy, Jamal. I
got them, man. I mean, that's the NBAC stuff. I got the WhatsApps. Anyway, let's bring Maya in. I don't know. I ain't never seen. I don't know if Maya's in the what's it called? Magis list age demographic. I don't know. I don't think so.
I think I'm on there. I think I'm a member. I think
it don't show up in my news feed unless somebody tells me. But let's bring Maya in before you get in trouble, Sherry.
Good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy.
Not this face, trouble.
Hey, yeah. Hey, Maya, what do you think? We need to have a vote. Sherry thinks more people need to show up to town hall meetings, right? I believe people only show up when it's personal interest, right? Well, do you have like an opinion on that? Because you've attended quite a few in your day.
I have, and I can definitely say a lot more happens when a lot more people are there. Like,
Mm.
rarely is there a time when there's like 8 people and there's actual conversation dialogue going on. It just falls really flat and no one really asks questions. And most of the journalists are just there asking questions then, since some of the community members are necessarily able to like speak up or have anything to say.
I disagree with your experience and Shar's, but I'm gonna tell you why. You say more got someone. You know what it makes me think of? And I asked that person in school. I'm just gonna tell you. It makes me think of class is full today. That means people's gonna stay out. We ain't getting out early for recess because everybody's heard are gonna be talking and talking. It reminds me of getting into a meeting at work and the meeting's supposed to end, be at 2 to 3, but because nobody shuts up and wants to keep asking questions, not good questions in my opinion, but just questions, that the meeting's going to like 3:30. And now I'm missing out on the World Cup game because somebody wants to carry it. You know what I'm saying, Sharon? No?
No, I didn't, because it sounds like Maya's agreeing with me. So I'm just here to listen and take this in right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm just telling you what happens when I'm there in the place. When there's a lot of people, you can at least tell like who feels one way and who feels the other. When there's a little bit of people, you don't know what the majority feel. Yeah,
you got a consensus. Yeah, I agree. I agree. You do get a consensus. But since Shara's never been, Maya, I hope that she'll be in attendance at the next one that you're at. Go ahead.
It's fine.
All right, so let's go on with the news. As you know, we are talking about the town hall meeting that happened last night. So last night, the Premier, Minister of Finance, David Burt, Minister of Health, Kim Wilson, was also present there, and the Minister of Education, Diallo Bain, hosted a community engagement meeting to discuss the government's recent, recent delivery of the throne speech 2022 and other initiatives as well that they have listed. The community conversation took place at Workmen's Club, and the focus really did shift on just community questions. Like that's what really drove the, I guess you could say, the excitement of the night. One community member questioned the crisis of like school violence and the lack of teachers. And this is what one father particularly mentioned about his daughter's experience at Cedar Bridge Academy right now.
The amount of violence that is going on right now is unprecedented at Cedar Bridge. On Wednesday, I got a text from a friend of my daughter to tell me that my daughter was attacked by another male student that is her age. It was then that many other things were put before me. There are a significant lack of teachers for core subjects. I don't know how our children or how any of this reform is supposed to be implemented if we're starting off with no teachers.
If your daughter was attacked, I expect that the school has done what they need to do to take care of that. There is security at the school for that. The addressing of violence within our schools, and it's not just Cedar Bridge, it's all of our schools. It's all of our schools. It's it's easy for us to say that it is a society problem because it is, but we do have. You should be confident that when you're sending your children to our schools, they are in a safe environment, because it's not everyone. It is a minority of students. It's not all of them, but it is a minority of students, and we have to figure out how we can deal with them in a different way than what we've been dealing with them before. Suspension and sending them home to an unstable, in some cases, a further unstable environment is not working. But having those interventions in the school when they need to be actually removed and have more intensive interventions at another location is something that needs to come into play, and it's something that we're definitely looking to put in place in a very short order.
Is it me, or did that father basically come across as if he doesn't feel confident that what needs to be done is being done at the institution? So therefore, I'm coming to you, minister, and the minister just pretty much put it back on the school as to say, well, I'm sure the school has in place things and they have security. Am I like, Sherry, am I wrong in sensing that he was coming to the minister because he didn't feel his concerns just getting addressed?
He felt that the things that were already in place weren't working.
Weren't working. Thank you. That's what I got from it.
He did go on to.
Okay, go ahead, man. Sorry.
He did go on to say, well, the father went on to say that, if they don't implement something right now, then this is just going to feel like a football conversation. Somebody said, well, things are just going back and forth all the time. Start moving those initiatives like today. So that's something that he did mention.
Yeah, and again, I mean, folks, I don't have children. I don't have any children going to school, but I can only imagine how. I mean, she was attacked by a boy too, right? I mean, I don't even know what that would feel like as a father to go to a meeting like this because you don't feel that the institution that you send your child to learn is not safe. This is not this is not cool, man. So my hope is that after rewatching that, I mean, we rewatch these shows. Hopefully, the government ministers go back or take the time to go back and watch the town halls to digest it differently, because it's a difference between doing it live and in person and then going back and reviewing. Hopefully, the minister can reflect a bit based on his response and the question from that father.
Well, next up that happened that same night of the town hall was that a lot of persons stood up and kind of went on to talk about the West End primary school debate about, the parish primary schools and that school being one of the ones that are going to be cut. So a lot of people in especially the Somerset area do not like that. And one person in particular questioned the Minister of Education on the consultation process for the primary schools and the cultural significance.
Mm-hmm. One question, I think I heard you say this in a video, that it was a red herring, this idea of the name of the school change. And if you could just explain what you mean by that term red herring, because it makes it sound like it's a small issue. It's not a small issue. There are my ancestors whose feet were not allowed to step into Somerset Primary grounds. Furthermore, there was an assessment done. Assessment is only as good. Data collection is only as good as the question asked. As far as my understanding, there was no question related to cultural heritage of the school. There was no, you can correct me, were there questions related to cultural heritage and importance to the community in these questions where these grades were given to the different campuses?
First,
were there, I'm just asking a simple, I could be incorrect. Were there questions related to those issues? It's just a yes or no question. I could be misinformed and I would like to be informed well.
Historical reverence was not one of the critiques.
Okay, thank you.
When it comes to West End, some school has to close. If it has to be West End, let it be. No, why? Because West End, Somerset Primary is more equipped to take children than West End. Bigger school. All right, that's good. Next thing, thanks. Next thing is, I'm not finished. Mr. Minister, I brought something for you.
You can bring it up.
I was very entertaining. I was kind of like, what's happening next?
Did the police get called or what? So, Maya, can I share my opinion on that?
Let me just finish off by saying that after that, the conversation did go on more, and then the woman actually did ask people who were in attendance to stand up if they're here for West End Primary, and more than half of the people in there did stand up. So it seemed as though, like, again, having a number of people there for a purpose and a reason to be there. Go ahead.
Sherry, you want to say something, bro?
No, go ahead. I don't know. Like, was this a pitch for the item that he had? Like, what information that he have that Somerset was back? Like, I'm confused. It was very entertaining.
Well, I think people have said that Somerset Primary is better equipped. That's why they want to just use that school. I do think that renaming Somerset Primary West End is short-sighted by the minister, thinking that would make people happy. I've said on this show, and I love Miss Ellen Kate Horton, like the most respect for the people. As a person who stood up and fought for things that I believed in, I believe, if people are not causing harm to others physically, emotionally, mentally, that they should have that right to fight for what they believe in. I'm not attached to any public institution as far as schooling. I have no attachment to Prospect, Cedar Bridge, Northlands, any school I went to. So I don't understand it like they do. I don't understand the history of West End. But I say that because just because I don't understand it doesn't mean that I should dismiss it.
Right.
And so I just want us to be a bit more conscious, right, of the way other people feel. I do think that is being dismissed. And I understand people, feel like, and I've said it on the show, like, it's just a building to me, prospect, or that's me, right? But the way history gets lost, let's think about Florida, the state I live in, how they're literally trying to take certain books out of schools. I understand. Whether I agree with it totally, I don't know, because I don't know the what West End looks like or Somerset Primary. I honestly just don't know. I don't have the details. What I can say is I think that everyone needs to sit at the table again and find a way forward, because I'm not quite sure this is it.
But and I have a real issue with there not being a cultural component when we did look at that, when that seems to be kind of at the top tier of why many people in the community have an issue with why the school needs to be taken away. So I'm very surprised that that wasn't taken into an account.
Yeah. What else you got for folks? The question, the second half of the show is, what are your thoughts on the West End situation? I think it's important because we spoke about the amount of people. I think it's this is not just about West End or Somerset. And we used to always say this is not just about Bermudians against the draft and conscription into the regiment. If people get away with one thing in one space, what do you think they'll do in another space on another day? So I'd like the audience to let us know, what are your thoughts on the West End situation? What's your thoughts? Maya, what else you got for us?
Ending out with that news, I will say that it will be, like, if this is a fight that people want to continue to have, it will be a long one, because as we know, the middle school phasing out, that introduction was in 2017, and we still haven't accomplished any movement on that end just yet physically. So this will be quite a long journey as well. So in other news, Balco actually recently put out a press release stating that the studies that they are conducting on air quality monitoring shows that most of the issues around clean air, is in particular the contaminants that are most pervasive to the island, are not from Balco or Times Bay, but actually come from Bermuda cars.
Interesting. That's very interesting. So
really,
electric car. Well, I mean, Bermuda's so small, and Balco, all that. But again, it is a sign that there's just so many vehicles on the island. So my guess, Sherry, is everybody going to be driving Tesla soon, right?
well, and the whole thing is that no one stuck to the rule, right? One car per household. We know several people who have number of cars that are,
most people stick to it in the US. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm just saying. You all in Bermuda, you flossing.
Yeah.
Well, last up on the news today, an event that's happening, that's coming up, the Institute of Bermuda Architects and the Bermuda Association of Professional Engineers will host the 6th year, since they had it in 2019, the Cardboard Boat Building Challenge. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but they normally have students in year 9 to 12. They take 2 hours to build these cardboard boats out of cardboard and duct tape, and then they try to make it across a 50-meter stretch at the National Stadium swimming pool. So they're bringing that back, and it's hopeful that this will encourage students to want to take a career in engineering and architect.
A cardboard boat. I don't think my boat will last long. What's the weather looking like, Maya?
The weather is
the Central look.
Central has scarred her
for life. Okay, bright skies after early clouds, with winds southeasterly moderate and veering more south in the evening, and we have a high of 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Right now it's looking sunny, but obviously it's a lot of gray shadows, so still expect some rain.
Okay, what you got days of the year, Sherry?
It's International Day of Tolerance. It's a great opportunity for you to think back and recall the last time you had a different perspective than one of your friends. Jamal and I daily. When's the last time we've had to learn something about someone else's culture? Recently, and we're betting it wasn't long ago. Look and learn the date that celebrates open-mindedness and listening. And I think, yeah, we definitely need to be open minded to different cultures. I have had situations here recently that my accent makes me sound very like, stutty and uppity and talking down on folks. So it's really interesting that um, others from other cultures don't think that they sound different and funny to me. It's
Yeah.
like, you sound strange too.
Americans bother me when they think they don't have an accent, but it's interesting. They say Sherry sounds, studious and whatnot. They say I sound like Nelly from St. Louis, but anyway, I
Really?
pronounce "der" the same way. I'm getting right there. But look, folks, that question. We'll get to the comments after. Maya, thank you so much for that extended news break. It's a lot to digest. And we definitely appreciate the work you put in and putting these videos together and appreciate CITV for, doing their part to make sure people have access to this. Folks, you can always go back and watch the entire town halls. There's no reason for you not to know. Go ahead, man.
Quick, before I exit out. So I remember Phil did put something as saying like they should tell us when. I will say that this press release came out Sunday evening. And so we had Monday and Tuesday to know about the town hall. And I put that on myself, did not mention it in my news broadcast for the Daily Hour.
But
it just slipped in my emails.
You had 2 days to get ready, bro. Yeah,
a day and a half.
Okay. 3/4. All right, cool. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
All right, folks, if you appreciated the conversation news so far, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We're going to take a quick break. Do not go anywhere. Let us know. What are your thoughts? What can we learn from the West End situation?
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
All righty, welcome back to the big show. Sherry Vanderpool, I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, don't forget to sign up for a membership. Just hit the join button to become an official member of our channel. Also, thank you to everyone who filled out the survey. The information you provided is helpful. We'll be giving away a few things in early December. We'll be doing a draw, I should say, to see who wins of those who filled out the survey. So make sure you're tuned in. so we can see if you win. And one thing I will say is you can win multiple times on the show. We have no problem rewarding you more than once. Engagement pays here. So question of the second question for the focus today is what can we learn from the West End primary school situation? What can we learn from that situation? Because even if you take the politicians out of it and you just look at the gentleman who responded to the lady, the way he spoke was like just full of like as if he was trying to agitate. Actually, he spoke like me, like like he was trying to instigate something. Right? Did he not? He was like Don King up in there, huh?
Well, I would say in your defense that I think you would have came with more information about why you felt the way that you did. He just said, "Is I just heard it's not equipped." It's like, well, what does that mean, sir?
Yeah.
And then you go want to gift your products to, like, it was confusing. So yes, I think you have maybe some of that same energy, but I think yours would have had a little bit more oomph to it. But I personally just think that the whole situation with West End Primary School, I know a decision needed to be made on some retrospect, but if you're listening to the community, why are we still even having this conversation? Work it out, that the community can hold on to what they deem as something very important.
I'm gonna start some trouble.
Well, hey,
As Charles H. Jeffers II says here, there's definitely an attachment to schools like Central, Victor Scott, and the Barclay. Hearing about the history of West End, I think, puts them in that category.
Absolutely.
Well, remember what I said before the break, that this is not just about West End. If it can happen to West End, it can happen to any institution. Who's to say that one day, because precedence has been set, it can't happen to the Barclay or a Victor Scott? You got what I'm saying? And so that's what I want people to consider when I say that. It's like, it's not just about, the fight before you. It's what do the results of that fight lead to next beyond that? And that's what I think we should consider when these things happen. So what can we learn from the West End primary school situation? Renee Simmons, for you sharing.
Didn't the ministry say the new school at Somerset Primary will be totally remodeled? Then why can't they remodel West End Primary to the same benefit? So it's not that Somerset is a more conducive project, in my opinion.
I mean, if that's true, what she's saying makes sense. Like, if you, why spend money on invest in Somerset Primary if you can do it with West End? Now, again, I'm going to speak from a place of ignorance. Maybe Somerset Primary is in a better space, like as a building, or has more space, or makes more sense. But I think those reasons should be provided if they haven't already. Again, I haven't followed it closely. It would be helpful to answer those questions. It's a thing I learned about sales, Sherry. One of the things you learn when you first start working in sales is you want to make sure that you answer the objections in your presentation. So, for instance, if you know that the client's probably going to ask about market research, you want to answer as many questions in the market research. They want to ask about the benefits. You answer every possible question in the benefits, the features, right? And then the cons. You want to answer the cons. I know the price may be an issue, but this is why the price is what it is compared to da 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 da. The problem with government, I don't think they have a true sales approach when selling things to the public. I think they have a "this is what we're gonna do" approach. You're not Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs can say, "I don't need to do market research. I'm not asking people what they want. I'm creating a damn iPod and an iPhone because I'm telling them that this is beneficial for them. This is going to help rid the need for all these other devices if it's all in one thing." Government, you're not Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
And I say that respectfully, not trying to be funny, but he was a mind one and few between, right?
And so even like touching on what Charles just said, there's a rich history in all of those schools. And I think you said the same thing. When you talk to persons who attended those schools, Jamal, the amount of pride that they have in speaking. Like you said, the Barclay, it's the Barclay Institute. Please don't forget that last part. And people who have gone, and people who attend Barclay Institute will remind you of that. When you talk about, older folks going to school, I went to the Central School, and the pride that they had and the things that they did in these schools. And when you talk about West End, the community, just the feeling of what it is, why isn't that taken into consideration? Is it, and then what it represented, right? Because for most people in the community, Somerset does not reflect something positive that they are aware of, predominantly because it was seen as a different school back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, and I get it. Sherry, again, I think what we have to do is what I explained earlier is sometimes we have to remove our own feelings and try to understand others.
Tolerance.
And only then. And indeed, like literally right back to what day of the year it is. Like it's okay to be a bit more tolerant. It leads to a better community. And understanding doesn't necessarily mean agreement. Let me be clear with that. But understanding helps us to get to a better space. Charles H. Jeffers II says, I've heard it said that the Premier and Minister of Education didn't attend public schools and therefore have no attachments. To some, that might be a good thing. To others, that explains a lot. Well, I believe they both attended Salters. I don't know what schools they went before that. No, but he makes a valid point.
Yes, he does.
And again, I don't know what schools they attended prior to Salters, but please know those things will be used against you when you're making these kind of decisions.
Gilbert Institute and Sands Secondary School, before it was a Sands Middle Secondary, whatever. Gilbert Institute. I love that school. Now, what it probably represented back in the day, but
folks, if you have children watching with you right now or listening, just block their ears for what I'm about to say. 3, 2, 1. I hated school. I had no attachment. I don't understand. Honestly, I need to do a case study on Barclayites, because whatever they did in that school for people to love school that way, I need some of that, because I have no attachment. I didn't like school until I left Bermuda, when I started to study what I was interested in.
I say that brainwashed. People got mad. People got mad.
I don't understand people's attachment to institutions. Again, this is not a judgment. Let me be clear, folks. This is my experience. I do not get it, because my experience in school was just weren't great. I hated. I didn't like to go to class. I didn't like math or science and all that. I didn't like it.
And I agree with you, Jamal. And I'm kind of not as passionate as you are in regards to school, but I wasn't very fond of school as much either. But it is. I need to know as well what was given to people at the Barclay Institute that they are just.
Oh, hold on! Not just Barclay, West End at this point now too. Victor,
yeah.
If you're from town, Victor Scott this, Victor Scott that. Like, I just want to understand it, because outside of the only thing I compare it to right now, Sherry, is outside of something that really bothered me growing up is Bermudians thinking that we were better than islands to the south and people to the south, and outside of this mindset of making ourselves believe we are elitists and more elite than others, I don't understand it. And that's not saying that that's the reason. I'm simply saying I do not understand people's attachments to institutions. I have literally no attachment to an institution. That's me. I'm not saying it's anything wrong with you all having an attachment to an institution. I just don't understand it. And so, again, back to the question, what can we learn from the West End situation? I just believe we can be a bit more understanding.
Yeah.
Sherry just said she loved Gilbert. You all probably ready to eat her up. Gilbert, the history of that school? She literally prefaced, I know, whatever. But again, she loved Gilbert. She loved Gilbert. Let's take a quick break, folks. We're going to come back, wrap it up. We got a daily play. We have a new holiday edition of Bermuda Trivia. We should do a giveaway for that. No, I haven't been given permission. I'm not getting in trouble. You all are not getting me in trouble.
You're going to send me one for my first holiday?
Saying anything on this show that's going to get me in trouble. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
You like trouble, Jamal.
No.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
Alrighty, thanks again to One Communications, People's Pharmacy, Lunda's, and Medical Health for ensuring we're able to do this. Let's take a quick break, folks. I'm going to do it with you. Everyone who's tuned in on YouTube or Facebook, let's do something together. Let's hit the like button on the YouTube video. Let's hit the like button in 3, 2, 1. Like. Boom. It's easy. It doesn't cost you anything. Seriously. Just hit the like button. All right. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0, Great Taste, No Alcohol, and Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sherry, are you ready?
You really thought about the question today, I'm sure. Such a
No, this
leader.
is even easier than yesterday. Like, seriously, I forgot about yesterday when I just put this out this morning, but here it is. It's an easy question, but I'm starting my music as I read the question. Here we go. What carol contains the line, "Come let us adore him"?
Come let us adore. Silent Night?
Really?
Is it Silent Night? No, come let us. Christ the Lord. I can't get it. I'm singing this song. I can't get it.
What carol contains the line?
Christmas Carol, right?
Yes. What carol contains the line, "Come let us adore him"? Audience, help her out.
I can't get it out, Jamal. I cannot.
Wow. They all got it.
Oh, come, only faithful. And I sang it, right?
They all got it, Sherry.
I did. I was like, come on.
I thought that was the easiest question.
It was.
Folks,
I just could not get it.
We got her, folks. We got her.
Oh man.
Hold on. You messed up the winning streak you all had, huh?
Not really.
Yeah. I mean,
it's been a minute, so I mean, it's all right to take a break.
From winning? Yeah. You can't win them all, right, Sherry?
You should know about that.
Oh wow. Yeah. She loves me, you guys. She loves me. Hey, real quickly before we wrap it up, Sean DeShields says factors that must also be considered regarding the closure of these schools include more students attending private schools and the decline in birth rate in Bermuda. Well, remember what Sir John Swan said earlier this year. It's unprecedented. Bermuda has more children in private school than public. That's crazy. That's insane. But one of the key reasons that government has given is the decline in birth rate for the school closures. But again, I don't think the West End situation is a matter of school closures. It's a matter of a school that's closing. So just keep in context that. Renee Simmons also said, well, Berkeley as an example, the new Berkeley is not the same as that. I've
heard that.
But I am want to, although close locations, the name carries the school history. NTS is laughing at you. Said it was the Silent Night from the. She went there, folks. She went there. Sherry, let's wrap it up. Your daily play. You need that inspiration you're going to give us. But final thoughts on this morning's discussion as it relates to town hall, and then the question regarding West End.
It's quite simple. If there is some interest for you in regards to what is being spoke about at a town hall, then attend. I think your input matters. Is it effective? I mean, it depends on how you look at it, right? You might feel that at least that you went and had your piece and said what you needed to say. As far as West End, I think that again is a simple solution. Leave it open, renovate it, and let the history stand. The history stands for itself.
Yeah. I'll say this much. I agree. I think people matter. If you have a consensus, it does make a difference. That said, don't just take up space. Don't take your cousin from down the street who ain't got no interest just to have people there. Take people who are gonna be effective, ask questions, make a difference, put pressure on. I think the effectiveness of town halls is like the effective of governments most times. You really don't know how much of a difference it's going to make until some time after, right?
Yeah.
But it helps to try to make a difference while they take place. As far as West End, again, I have no personal attachment to schools. I don't understand the attachment to buildings or necessarily much, history that they have, because I never attended institutions with such history. I mean, I graduated from Cedar Bridge. The history was a year old, folks. Seriously, like to me, it's not the same as what I learned when I read about Berkeley, right? So I wouldn't understand that. That said, that doesn't mean I dismiss, disrespect, or disregard the feelings of other people. And I think that has to be considered. And I'm not, by no means, I'm not repeating to say that because the minister and the premier attended Soltis, they have no connection. That could be true. That could be true. But even if it is, whether it is or not, I think collectively they need to consider how the people feel. And if they've considered it and still they feel that's the best move, well, that word that Maya often mentions about consequences. I hope they're okay to deal with whatever those consequences may be from those people who feel strongly about their institution. People, it's on you. You got some daily inspiration for us, Sherry?
I do. It goes with the daily play. Learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. And that's from Albert Einstein.
You better not stop questioning. Shucks. You better go.
Come on, faithful. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Shucks, silent night. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lenders, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.